Hey everyone, I'm Brittney, and welcome to Season 2 of the Reclusive Blogger interviews. Hey everybody, it's Brittney, and welcome to the Reclusive Blogger interviews. This is episode 10, and on episode 10, I talked to London singer-songwriter and sessions artist BIM. We go into her origins in music, talk about her stunning new EP, Beauty and Chaos, and the creative process behind that, go in depth on her music career thus far, and talk about her identity as a Black British woman. How did you get your start in music?
It's a bit weird because I guess maybe people have other people have stories of maybe going to school for music or, one day they just fell in love with music. But I'd always sung, and I always loved to sing. I was one of those kids who just would sing around the house, and it was always that. But I never had it in mind as a job. And so I think I sang through high school and so on, and it's just something that I did. And I was working, I went on to become like a project manager, and I was working in construction, and I was working in that side of things. And it was something that I always kind of did on the side. And so I'd been singing in a choir and doing things like that, and I'd sung at church. And I went into work one day basically, and I was made redundant. And after kind of being a bit upset about that, I kind of made the decision that I'll go for it, and let's see what happens. And someone told me about an audition, and it was literally an audition where they wanted me to come in, but it was such short notice that they ended up saying, "Okay, well, can you just send us a voice note?" And so I just went into my bathroom, sent them a voice note, booked the job, and that's how we started rolling.
What audition? Can you say what audition it was for?
It was for drum. I don't know how popular it is in the States, to be honest, but it was for a drum and bass.
I love drum and bass.
It was for a drum and bass DJ called High Contrast. So he's a big drum and bass DJ. And he hadn't had any singers, and it was the first time he wanted to start doing singers and having some vocals on stage. And so it was an audition for that. Did that, and got that straight away, and then we started rolling.
Oh, that's awesome. So how many years ago would you say that was?
Maybe now, maybe 5, 6.
Okay, wow.
So maybe like 5, maybe like 5, 6 years ago now. But but I mean, before that, I had done stuff. It was kind of like I'd do it, take a few days off from work, go and take care of it, and then go straight back to do my normal job. But after doing the high contrast audition, that's when I just decided to do it full time. And
awesome. I guess I my next question would be, how do you think some of the values that you kind of had when singing and growing up in like the church would I would say help you kind of go in your career and kind of things like that?
I started to go to church and sing in church, I guess, when I was about 18, 19. So I think for me, I guess it's very grounding. I have a very kind of firm foundation. Although, you can get caught up with things and everything looks very shiny on the outside. There's a lot of hard work that goes in to doing the kind of things that we do and working with the kind of bands that I work with. And you see a lot, you hear a lot. And having that kind of firm foundation means that you're not really swayed by anything. Kind of just, you can just get on with the job, and you're normal. And I think in some of these situations, that's what's needed. They just want people to come in and do the job and not be overawed by who they're dealing with. And yeah, I think it's nice to have something outside of the music to feel settled. I think it's good to have that generally, but it helps in an industry like ours. It really helps to have just that solid foundation, and you come in and you know your mind is in a settled place, and you can just get on with what needs to be done, and you can enjoy it. And take it for what it is, and still go home and be a normal person. So, yeah, I think that's the best way to kind of put it.
Yeah, I would agree on that, and I think also seeing as for me, when I kind of get out of that kind of LA bubble, that because I don't live in LA, so I can kind of be like, I can go do what I do in LA and then kind of come back to like the space of my family and kind of in the suburbs and things like that. And so, because it can get kind of crazy and weird, and it's just like, whoa. It's just like, whoa, it's not that serious, people.
That's very true. But it's nice to have that kind of, that very calming element, very measured, balanced, stable element in my life. So, no matter what else is happening, I stay on an even keel. I can enjoy it for what it is. It's I think it's the best thing, best foundation.
And I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just what you said. No, what you said there kind of reminded me of a lot of the elements on your EP. Was very, especially I think the one song alone. That one really kind of stuck out to me because of the way that your vocals went. And it was just like, I'm going to take my time and sing this song. And it was really nice.
Thank you.
So,
thank you so much.
Yeah, that was my next question, was how did you start the process of recording the EP and then the whole creative process? I like to kind of go into that.
I started off writing songs. I have a whole catalogue of I tend to write everything, longhand. I have these notebooks, and I write things down. And as, if I get an idea, I'll write it down, I'll record it into my phone, and I'll just write it down. And so I had all of these songs that I had already. And I kind of, I'd been thinking about doing an EP for a very long time. And people had been kind of encouraging that maybe it would be something that would be great for me to do. But really, I was kind of nervous doing it. And it seemed quite an overwhelming process. But what I decided to do is I thought, well, I'll go step by step. And I found, I started working with a band separately, which was just a band that kind of it was a band that did weddings and did kind of functions. But the guy that ran the band happens to be the producer who produced Ed Sheeran and Beyonce's song Perfect. And so, I've been singing with that. I sang with that band. And when I decided that I wanted to do stuff, I spoke to him about it. And he was like, okay, whenever you're ready, I'll be ready to help you. And I was like, okay, great. Then I met, through friends of mine, I met another producer who really, he plays all of the instruments, and he is really wonderful when it comes to soul music and R&B. And that was the lane I was sitting in. So I spoke to him. And from there, it was really a case of, I'm going to bring some of the songs that I already have, and then I'm going to see what I feel like in the studio. And what ended up happening is that with one of the producer who really sits in that R&B lane, his name's Lyndon Grant, we worked together on all those songs. So we wrote those together in terms of I would write all the lyrics and he would write I'd write lyrics, I'd write melody, he'd do the same with melody in terms of the music, and then we'd come together and do that. And it was a really quick process. The first session we had, we wrote, recorded all the vocals and everything for Intuition. Very first.
Wow. Wow.
And so after that, we were like, okay, we can work. And so our process together is really quick. When it's with Will Hicks, who is the producer, worked with Ed Sheeran and Beyonce, he produced Alone.
Okay.
He produced OTR. And so his kind of he produces obviously a lot of pop and a lot of mainstream music, and so he's kind of called a vocalist's producer, and he pays good attention to that vocal, and that's what I needed. I wanted everything my vocal front and center, and I just wanted it to be very, very beautiful and kind of capture as many different sides as you can in 5 songs. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
But I just wanted it to capture some of my moods and some of where my head was in that kind of bubble. And that's how Beauty and Chaos began to just develop. And that was between probably the very end of 2019 through to the very beginning of 2021. So, yeah, during that process, and obviously we had COVID and different things were happening. That began to seep in, and just that general, the general feeling of what it's like to be a woman, what it's like to be a Black woman, what it's like to be in Britain, because it is different. The Black experience is different wherever you are.
It's different everywhere, yes.
So there's so many similarities, but there's so many differences at the same time.
There's a lot of differences, yeah.
So it was all of that going into it. And then however I feel at that time, usually that's what seeps into that song. And so that's what you're hearing in I Still Remember. I can go into all of these different songs, but yeah, that was the process. And so I went between the two of them, we worked, and that I just wanted to keep it really simple. So I didn't want to have too many producers, too many hands in the pot. I just wanted to keep it as authentic to me as possible. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask you about, well, I think you kind of already went into that, but who's the photographer, and how did you kind of come up with the album art? Because I thought it was really, really nice and simple, but effective and pretty as well.
Thank you. The photographer for that is a lady called Sophia Carey. And I met her. She was the photographer for one of my really great friends' wedding. So she was a wedding. She does weddings. But, if on a further investigation, the reason why she was hired for my friend's wedding is because before that, she was not before, but she still does it. She was a rave photographer. So so she would go into musical events and kind of specialize in grime and rap. So she was used to capturing people with skin tones such as mine. She was used to capturing movement. She was used to using the light in a certain way. And I wanted to make sure it was somebody who I wouldn't have to explain certain things to. Her work, it spoke for itself. Very lovely, super young. I think she's 21.
Wow.
Very, just really lovely, and doesn't live in London, but works in between Manchester, where she lives, and London. And so I'd already, for the moment I started working on the EP, I had the name. I had the name of it. I had the theme in my head, and it was in the pen. Each time I was writing something, I knew it was going into this kind of bubble of like the beauty and chaos. And so I wanted to kind of reflect, I wanted to really reflect that kind of just beauty, actually, and just kind of that beauty and that enjoyment and that kind of opulence in the midst of things which can be sometimes quite sparse. Sometimes, you're trying to maintain your peace and joy in a concrete jungle. Sometimes you're trying to, keep it all together in a hostile environment. And so I kind of wanted to capture that and have something that was really elegant and timeless. And so I have a young lady called Mildred, who was the stylist for that, and the designer who made the dress is a Nigerian designer, and I'm from Nigeria. Millie's from Nigeria, and I wanted to have that speak at the same time. It didn't need to be the flag, but I wanted to have something that represented where I'm from, who I am, in a very kind of opulent and beautiful way. And so the decision was made, with the cover art for OTR. That outfit is from the same company, Towoloi, and it's so important for me to be able to have those elements all come together, so that I am in a position where I feel that I'm representing what I want to represent, and I am kind of flying the flag in the way that I would like to, and I'm being represented in a way that I like to see other women like me represented. I wanted to have something that was, I wanted to have a very clean and strong image, but I wanted it to be beautiful. I wanted it to be main character, no kind of sidelining. I wanted it to be gorgeous. So, and they all work together to do that for me. So that's a very long answer, but that's where we are.
Because I think because I was on your, I don't know if it was your Instagram or Twitter, but I did notice that it matched the flag of Nigeria. But I don't know, it was I don't remember what post I was looking at, but there's another thing that I wanted to ask you about were the visuals, and I think there's a couple, like you had like a little short videos to promote each song.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about some of them, because I know you were in a museum in one of them.
Yes.
And I wanted to know if you had purposely chosen the art that you were featuring, because I love some of the art.
Yes. So I'm always really conscious of the detail of what I'm doing, and I think that's part of the process and part of the enjoyment of being able to create your own art, is that you're able to kind of pull in elements that inspire you and that you enjoy. And I think with Cinematic and with I Still Remember, we went to the Serpentine Gallery in central London, and they were having two different main exhibitions, and one of them was for KAWS, which is an American designer. He's very, very popular, and so with that one, that was where we were doing Cinematic, and so his work is very symbolic of pop art, and it borrows from that color base. It's very kind of eye-catching, very innovative. It's forward thinking, and when you go into this exhibition, they ask you to kind of download this app so you can get involved in kind of virtual reality. So there's a little part of it inside the clip, but when you walk into the museum, I think it's maybe in the last kind of 3-4 seconds, when you walk into the museum with your naked eye, you can't see that. You have to be able to see that with your phone. And so we wanted to capture that, pop that in. I think you'll see it's like a floating character. You can't see that if you walk into the museum. It's not actually there. You have to have the app. And so I wanted that to kind of feed into that idea. With Cinematic, it was very deliberate to have that kind of energy, those bright colors, that kind of vibe. With I Still Remember, that was at the other section of the Serpentine Gallery, and that was with an exhibition for a Haitian artist. And he works particularly about memory and history and historical context. And a lot of his work talks about the French Revolution, a French influence on Haiti, the history between those countries, the history between countries and the states. And so I thought that was fitting for something like I Still Remember, that context for it. And it's one, you know, and so if I'm in that environment, I thought that that would be perfect for that. So I was very specific about what I was looking at and what I was doing.
Yeah, that's another thing I did notice about a lot of your music and the your posts, that I noticed it was very detailed, specific, and in what you were posting. So I like that too. I guess my next question would be, is there a specific lyric from your EP that you feel is most timely?
Ooh. I feel like as if, I think the lyric that most people comment on probably would be in I Still Remember. It's the beginning of the second verse, and it's who should I call? The rescuer is chasing me. And I have so many people who have commented on that. And, you know, I've had a lot of people say, you know, they get to that part of the song and then they're like, right, I'm starting the song again. And I think that speaks to how so many of us feel about authority figures and those who are meant to protect us and those who are meant to look after us, and feeling like as if, you know, there is nobody to call when you are in danger. And that song speaks a lot to that. And the experience of feeling that you're alone, even when other people are telling you that there's help available, when you know that that help is not available to you. And so I think that's timely in the sense that there's a lot of people and a lot of groups of people who feel like that, that they're not protected right now. And that goes across the board. There's many groups who feel protected, unloved and uncared for. So there's that. But then I really love the breakdown in the bridge for cinematic. When I talk about all of the different characters. So I say, maybe I'll be Hallie. We could have a ball, sing to you as Lena, leave you in fraud. Picture me as Dorothy, you can come and rescue me. Summertime fine, all the time. So, you know, obviously well, not obviously, but that's a reference to Dorothy Dandridge. Reference to, you know, Halle Berry, of course, in Monsters Ball. A reference Foxy Brown. And so I really love that that section, because it's really about those kind of Black female icons who are like center stage.
In Hollywood movies.
So I wanted to kind of center that and have that kind of idea, rather than kind of allude to maybe other stars. I want to kind of have stars that remind me of me, or remind me that it could possibly be me. I'm not an actress, but you know, and that kind of reflects back to me on the screen. And I just I really loved that song because I had so much fun writing it, and it was like a challenge for me to write it and fit as many film references in as possible. So I really enjoy that. But yeah, I get the most comments, I guess, about I Still Remember.
I would have picked yours, the one that you picked, because I thought that was really clever. But in terms of from the I Still Remember, that when I heard that one, I was just like, whoa, okay, that's a heavy lyric, and I could see why people are messaging and tweeting you about that one, because it is very, very, unfortunately, but it is way too timely. Because I have a lot of I think I was just talking to my mom about, I don't know, it was yesterday, or about some of the stuff that is really a lot of it that's still going on, and particularly in
Yes.
America. And because she grew up in the South back in like when there were still fountains that said colored and white. And so oftentimes she's like, I thought we'd maybe be further along and stuff like that. And then so she's often like, why aren't we further along? But then we are kind of getting somewhere and stuff like that. So it's still, a lot of it's just at times shocking, but then not shocking. And it's just, it's a lot. And then as we excuse me, and then also with the insurrection with at the Capitol, it's a lot going on, and so it's got to maybe like take a break from the news and stuff.
I definitely agree with that in terms of just I think it can be a little bit of a daily assault on your senses if you're not careful. And this is, it was part of my kind of thinking process, creative process, when I was just like, I just want to I have those songs where I'm talking about those things, but I wanted to have the lighter side because we find joy. We enjoy ourselves. We laugh, we dance, we fall in love. These things have always been happening, even at the hardest times. Even during the Jim Crow era, people were marrying, people were having children, people were having a good life, as good as they could have. And they were keeping their joy and building their families and building their relationships and connections. And I think it's really important to kind of show that balance, that regardless of what has happened or what keeps happening, we're still fully ourselves, we're still fully free. We do as much as we can with what we've got and more than enough. And I just wanted to have that where there was, yes, there is the I Still Remembers, but there's the OTRs. There's the dating. There's the falling in love. There's the having a good time, going out, enjoying yourself, being you, and not feeling fettered by everybody else's opinion or what the world is saying that you should be. And I wanted to have a little bit of that, at least a touch of that. It's not an album, so, you can't kind of fully flesh out everything, but as much as I could, I wanted to touch on that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think your EP captured, kind of like the not allowing what expectations of maybe society kind of puts on Black women, whether it's Black women in Britain or America or wherever. Just kind of not allowing those expectations to hamper you and stuff, but still realizing that there are those expectations there.
Definitely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I guess what? Yeah. You have a show coming up.
Yes.
On February, right?
Yes, February the 20th.
Yeah. How are you prepping for the show, and what are you most excited about?
We just had me and Lyndon, because Lyndon is going to be playing keys and MDing, and we were just talking about that today, and I'm really excited to bring it to life. It was always something where I was like, I want to be able to play this live. I feel like as if my voice does what it needs to do best live, and I love doing live shows. So, I'm nervous about it because it's the first one we've done, which is with a full band. So we have a 4-piece band, all amazing musicians. And yeah, we're going to bring the songs to life and do them slightly differently. Obviously, they'll be completely recognizable, but slightly differently because we can. And, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to do the songs from the EP. I'm also excited to do some songs that are not on the EP. Um, yeah, I'm excited to kind of get stuck in and see what it's like. Playing something like cinematic that's so big
Mm-hmm.
in that environment will be interesting. Um, Playing alone to anybody will be very interesting for me. That will
Mm-hmm.
just be voice and piano. Um, and it would just, yeah, we're going to strip that all the way back, and I'll sing it as I sang it originally before we got the string quartet involved. And yeah, just I'm looking forward to moments like that. It's kind of nice to be able to create your own moments. I've been part of so many bands and artists' great moments. It's really lovely to be able to start making some of my own.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, I'm excited about it all because all of it is going to be new for me. Um, and yeah, and I'm excited for people to hear it and see the reaction to it. It's one thing for people to listen to things, but like it's I want to see which song do they actually like the most. Like, what do people really connect with? Because it's always very different live. So yeah, I'm excited. Bit nervous, but I'm excited.
I guess my next question would be, yeah, I really want to talk about, I forgot to ask this earlier. I really want to talk about the spoken word track. That was it.
Okay.
I love that. How did you come up with that?
So the knowledge.
The knowledge.
Yes.
That's the one. Sorry,
No,
I should have. Yeah, there's a couple.
yeah. Uh, I just, as I was going through the process of creating everything else, I just felt like as if I needed to have the voices of like a plethora of other women. I just thought that the experience, whatever experience I have, and however I'm filtering whatever I deal with on a daily basis or whatever I write, that's coming from my experience. I'm one person and I can't speak for everyone. I can write so that it's a theme that lots of people can kind of identify and find some kind of place in. But I wanted to have those different aspects, and so I asked people who like everybody. It's different ages, different relationship status, um, different stages in their lives, and I just wanted to get kind of a bit of a kind of a broad kind of brushstroke. It's very broad, but brushstroke of like what different women had experienced. And I just thought that it would be quite funny because I just happen to know like really lots of really funny women, funny, intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
off the wall ladies. And so I knew that I was going to get some silly stories. And I just thought it would just be sweet. I thought it would be nice to have that aspect on there, especially before OTR. And its place is very, very deliberate. It's a set up track, and
Yeah, I think there wasn't. I think there was one lady on there. She was talking about like with the coupon or something like that. That one was funny.
everybody is talking about that, and that's actually my sister.
Oh, that's your
That's
sister?
my sister, and yeah, everybody's talking about this, about the Pizza Hut
Mm-hmm.
voucher,
Yeah.
how awfully cheap that man was,
Uh,
and yeah, I can assure anybody who's listened to it that as soon as that date was over, he was deleted. There was no way that
mm,
was over. But yeah, it was just stories like that. I just thought it was fun to include it and just everyone's
mm-hmm.
experience. Yeah, that's my very, very beloved sister.
Wow. I'm not like trying to knock Pizza Hut over there, but when I last was in London, I didn't like the Pizza Hut from over there. It was just, I don't know what they did to the pizza.
I mean, I've never. Have I had Pizza Hut in the States? I'm trying to think if I have. I don't remember having Pizza Hut in the States, but I wouldn't particularly recommend Pizza Hut here. I don't think it's, I mean, it's, I'm not trying to slander Pizza Hut, just in case you ever listen to this, okay? So we're not trying to slander you. But I do believe that there are much, much better places to get pizza that is much more authentic. Um,
It was just weird. I was just kind of shocked. I was like, this is weird.
it's okay.
But I don't know. But pizza in the States is okay.
Okay.
But I think people more likely go to other places or probably go to like the smaller shop and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that that experience that she had, that was quite some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's quite some.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, there's no way that you wouldn't catch her in a Pizza Hut now. Never. No, that was quite simple.
Oh, I just thought that was really interesting. I was like, wow. There's another one on there too that I thought was interesting, but I can't remember what it was. I think it was maybe one of the women had said that she thought the guy was cool, but then he turned out not to be cool. I can't remember. There's a lot of really clever ones.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the one which was, when she talks about silences, and she thought he was the one, and he wasn't.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
That's one of my friends from I've known her since I was 11. One of my friends since I was a kid. So yeah, she's very, very funny. She held back for that. But yeah. But there's a lot of experiences on there. And yeah, we try to keep it. I told everybody, like, give me 15 seconds, 20, and then they just went off on story. I just had to make it a whole thing, because I was like,
I'm not surprised.
I was like, I can't cut it off now.
I'm not surprised. Not sure how much time we have left, but I guess I just kind of want to ask like a few more fun questions or just stuff like that. What was your favorite book as a child?
Ooh. Oh gosh. Now you're asking. I was a voracious reader. I loved to read. I went through different phases. So at one point I read every Charles Dickens book. At one point I think I went for a phase where I read everything by Roald Dahl.
Oh, I loved him.
Yeah, I loved Roald Dahl as a child. I'm trying to think if there's a particular one. Maybe, I guess I would have to say, just because I'm thinking it's the first one that came to my mind, that maybe Mr. and Mrs. Twit
I've never heard of that.
By Roald Dahl. And it's just so disgusting. There's a married couple in this book, and they're just the most they're just the most disgusting couple ever. And Roald Dahl has a way of describing disgusting in a way that a few children's authors can top him. I think it was amazing. So I think as a child, it was between, at least in that stage, it was between Mr. and Mrs. Twit and The Witches.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. My mom's favorite is The Witches.
Yeah, The Witches.
And
yes,
my favorite was James and the Giant Peach.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. That was the one I kept rereading over and over. That was my favorite.
Yeah. So I think,
maybe those two. I guess, what fictional character do you think would most identify with your EP?
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. These are big questions. Which fictional character? Maybe Maleficent. Maybe. Um, yeah, maybe, because I feel like as if when you watch that film, or when you read about it, then you think to yourself, she wasn't the villain. You know,
Yeah, I've heard a lot of
yeah,
people say that. I've seen,
like
yeah, I could see
she,
that.
you kind of feel like, she was a created villain. She was made into a villain. Like the environment, the treatment,
Hmm.
um, the fact that people thought that she was something that she wasn't. And I feel like some of those themes run through Beauty and Chaos, and just trying. And she
Hmm.
tried. She did try to maintain who she was um, in a hostile environment, and I think that it didn't work. So she became hostile. And I think Beauty and Chaos really is about the other side, where trying not to be the hostile environment, trying to maintain. So that
Yeah,
might be someone uh, who could fit, possibly, possibly.
I could see that. I guess these would be my last three questions. I don't know how long we've been going. You are from London, so I wanted to ask you who are some of your favorite London artists right now?
Okay, so my favorite UK artists. I think who I've been listening to recently. I'm a big fan of Tiana Major 9.
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah.
she has such a gorgeous tone. And it's very effortless tone. Um, Hamza. Hamza has got a wonderful voice. I'm trying to think who else. Joel Fender. He has a magnificent voice, and I happen to know him, so I call him Golden Voice. Um,
Mm.
you can hear him on Two Evils with Bastille when we do it live for reorchestrated. He's phenomenal.
Hmm.
I'm just trying to think who else. Uh, Liz Lubega. She's a great artist, gorgeous tone, classic voice. Like a lot of the people that I guess I like are just on the kind of cusp. So,
Hmm.
someone like Tiana Imagine, I know she's obviously people know her, but a lot of other people are on the cusp. So, yeah, I think those are some of my favorite voices. Um, yeah, I mean there are other ones, but I think so many of the people that I've been listening to at the moment are from either European, so Luenda Yakuza, or listening to kind of Portuguese music. I've been kind of going over there at the moment, or South African music. So,
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that. Who are some of your favorite African artists? They don't have to be from Nigeria.
who do I listen to? I love Olamide from Nigeria. I love, I'm a big Wizkid fan, and he was
Oh yeah,
here
yeah.
doing a bunch of concerts, and he was phenomenal. Um, uh, I've always loved Tiwa Savage. She's fantastic. I'm very into Ampiano, so South African house. Um, just trying to think who else. I've been listening to all of these different things, and then now the names are flying out of my head. Sampa the Great. I love her. Um, she's amazing. Uh, yeah, I think that probably do it for now. I do. Yeah, I like Thames, and yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like so many different people. Uh, Another UK artist I really enjoy actually is Bella. Bella is one. So very sweet tone. Very sweet tone, very beautiful girl. So I think people will be seeing a lot of her in 2022. But yeah, those are some of the people I enjoy, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, most of these people I've not heard of. I heard of some of them, but I didn't even know South Africa had like their own house, style of house music.
Incredible.
That is interesting.
Incredible. The dancing is very specific. The
Wow.
it's a whole vibe. You will love it. You will
Wow.
love it. Like I'm just like, I want to go to South Africa because I want to go to a party where they're playing.
Wow, that's so
So
cool.
cool. It's just the coolest. So Ampiano, go and check it out. Amazing. Amazing.
Just have to search out South African house.
Yes,
That's
it
it.
has, or just look for Ampiano. So AM
Okay.
piano, I think is the right spelling, I believe. But
Okay.
find it on Spotify and stuff. Oh, great. You will have a good time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
So I love I first of all I love finding all sorts of new music, but I'm really into like electronic music and all that kind of like instrumentals like drum and bass, grime,
Yeah.
house, techno, all of that. I'm like really into that. So when I find out that all these like subdivisions are coming out, and especially from like different parts of the world, that's amazing. I love that. Oh
You'll
man.
love it. I think you'll enjoy it. Let me know. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I guess I'm with people who love it too and love to dance. So if you love to dance, that's the vibe for you.
I can say I love dance. I'm not sure how good I am at dancing,
That
but
doesn't matter.
um,
That doesn't matter how good you are. We're not grading it. It's just, do you like to dance? Yes, this is for you. You'll
yeah,
have a good time.
and I love good vibes. So, oh man, that's amazing.
Good vibes. It's definitely good vibes.
I guess my next one is do you listen to a lot of podcasts? Do you have like a podcast or show, or it could be a show that you've been kind of listening to a lot?
Yeah, because I want to make sure that I get the names correct. So I'm just looking at these podcasts that I listen to. I listen to what was my top podcast? My top podcast was a beauty one, actually. I listened to a different one. So I've been listening to one called Stories Mother Told, which is like
Mm-hmm.
African folklore stories
Oh wow.
from across the continent.
Mm.
Obviously, it's like, and it's all in English, but stories from whichever country, which is really lovely, actually. They are all children's stories, but it's just really, I don't know, I guess really heartwarming and kind of soothing to listen to something like that. It's a little bit strange to be a
Mm-hmm.
complete grown up doing that, but I do enjoy it, and it reminds me of the stories I had when I was a kid. Um, I like to. I mean, it is so wild, but I do love Kelechi Okofor's um, uh, podcast, SYM, uh, which I think it's Say Your Mind or Speak Your Mind. Um, very, 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 very funny, very wild, full of current topics, and she records, I guess, like through the week, so
Oh wow.
it's always bang on, and it comes out I think on a Monday, and whatever has happened in the news, it will definitely be in there.
Oh, I haven't heard of that last one. I think I've heard of the first one, but the last one I've not heard of. I'm still trying to catch up on a lot of it because there's so many.
Oh
You
yeah,
can kind of get overwhelmed.
there's so many. I'm just trying to make sure that I get this podcast, this beauty podcast. I don't know how I can forget it. I literally have listened probably to every single one. I'll have to look for that one. What is it? I think it's beauty. I think it's called Beauty and Reflection. think it's called Beauty
Yeah.
Perfection, run by an editor from UK Vogue, and she gets different people across the world to talk about beauty and its impact on like a global view on beauty, its impact on different people in different places, and kind of taking beauty out of just the context of nice products and putting it as, in terms of globalization and all of these different things. I know it sounds very kind of like, I don't know, maybe I sound kind of, I don't know. I don't know what I sound like with those kind of suggestions.
I watch a lot of YouTube videos on just like the most random things. So it sounds like a lot of the stuff I watch on YouTube.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very cool. So, and just, stories of the week that have something to do, have relevance to beauty, talking about diverse beauty, colorism, globalization, what we're going to do about the fact that there's all these beauty products have got plastic in them, and how things are changing,
the
environment, and I enjoy those. But then I really love any podcast that talks about the construction of songs. So, there are a few that I kind of have got into, and anything that talks about that or about songwriters, I tend to be listening.
Yeah. I was trying to remember the one that I was listening to that kind of breaks down different albums, and I was really into that one. They were on. I think they had broken down a couple. They were doing Frank Ocean, and then they had done it Kanye, and then
I'm just trying.
They had also done Mac Miller, I think. Oh man,
is it called this?
Your dissection or something like that?
I think, is it Dissected or something?
Yeah, Dissect. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, something like that. That's the one I. Yeah, so I do. That's another thing I listen and watch a lot, is music and songwriting and stuff like that.
I think there's another podcast called "And the Writer Is."
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I really like that one. Because they've got such an eclectic mix of songwriters on there. Some of the greatest songwriters. It's really, really interesting to hear their process of how they became songwriters, and also what influences what they tend to write about, or how they approach sessions. So, like me, that's invaluable. So I really enjoy that.
I'm with you on that one for sure, because it's just always interesting. Another reason why I started this podcast too, because I couldn't really do kind of the same talking or like kind of get into it as much when I was doing when I was just writing about it. But I just really like learning about what's in musicians' minds when they're doing stuff like this, and it's always just really fascinating to me.
I love to hear. I love to hear about the process. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of the process. So that's I can fangirl all day about behind the scenes videos and why I wrote this, what I was thinking at the time, and blah blah blah. That's my favorite. So anything to do with that, I'm there.
Yep. And I guess I will. I guess these would be my last two questions. Because you mentioned Joy earlier.
Yes.
And obviously you sing on Bastille's Joy.
Yes.
I would like to know what brings you the most joy.
What brings me the most joy? Maybe there's lots of external things, and there's like my friends, my family, being with people who love me, basically. That brings me a lot of joy, who I know genuinely love me and want to see me be well and happy and whole,
Mm.
that brings me a lot of joy. As an individual, I guess, I like quiet. It brings me a lot of joy to have stillness and have like a real genuine moment of disconnect from everything else and just have that still quiet moment. I love the opportunity to be by water, sitting in nature. That to me is, that brings me joy. That's what that recharges me, rejuvenates me. Like, if you want me to be super happy, just pick me up and put me at the edge of the forest near a lake. And I will be fully charged and very happy. And just I just having your moment of peace. Oh, that's everything. I love that. That is joyous to me. Even now, I'm just like really happy just thinking about it.
Yeah, you're old, like you got really excited there. Your whole I would have to agree on that because sometimes when I feel really stressed as well, I'll like pick my camera up and I'll go outside and I'll just take pictures and I can feel some of that stress start to go away.
Yeah, that's
and
that's my favorite.
And I would like to end on what is next on the horizon for you. And is there anything that I forgot to ask or mention or that you would just like to say?
What's next? Next is really trying to get as many people as possible to hear Beauty in Chaos. Trying to get the audience that I think exists for it. Trying to get them to hear it and hopefully they love it and people enjoy it and use it for like to soundtrack great moments and just have contemplative time with alone, or dress up and feel like the main character with cinematic. That's just like, for me, that's a win. That's would make me really happy. Trying to do as many live shows as the current environment would allow. Doing more writing. So I'm writing with a lot of people at the moment, and so having that show up more for me, and really pushing as a songwriter. And going forward in that, I don't think you've missed anything. I really enjoy assisting other people to create what they create and to see their kind of what they had in their heads, the dreams and kind of vision they had for their music in their heads come to life. I really enjoy being part of that process. But I also really enjoy creating that for myself. And I have lots of ideas and lots of colorful visions of where I see my voice fitting. And I think it would surprise some people what I see for myself. And I feel like, as if given enough time, I think I hear a lot of people saying it now. I have the plan. I just need the platform.
I love that.
So I
love that.
That's it. That's it for me.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna write that down. I love that saying. I love that. I you know what? I have I'm very similar with what I want to do as well. Sometimes we don't often get those chances and stuff.
Yes.
But when we do, we have to seize it and go with it.
Absolutely.
So, thank you for taking the time out with me today. It was really amazing chatting with you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it as well. So I will let you know when this is out so you can post it and everything. It shouldn't be too long because I have another podcast episode as well, and you would be the second one, and then the next one, and stuff like that. And other than that, that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
I'd like to thank BIM for taking the time out and doing this interview with me. Everyone should check out her new EP, Beauty and Chaos, and she's also featured on Bastille's new record, Give Me the Future, on the track Future Holds, and everyone should check out all of those projects with her. I'd like to thank everybody for listening to the Reclusive Blogger interviews, and also please don't forget to subscribe, share, and tell your friends or family or whoever that is really into music or interviews or both to hit that subscribe button and to give it a listen. I'm just a small podcaster that's doing everything on my own and doing everything independently. So every listen, like, share, or subscribe means a lot. So thank you.